some announcements. It's nothing too crazy this week, and it's nice and short, and I clicked on the wrong one to start, I think. No, that's the right one. Gas Oil, coming from Kino Lorber on Blu-ray soon. This is also known as Hijack Highway, another one that we don't know the release date from, and this is from 1955. I know nothing about this. I have a feeling that you're on that same page.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised because Kino's been kind of getting into some weird, we're going to put this random movie on 4K. I'm actually surprised this one's just a Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'm curious what the what the scan and all that information on the restoration is there. Usually they would say something about it here. This one's very interesting. I had not heard of it. I was curious about the AKA name, Hijack Highway. I feel like I'd seen that before maybe, but it's not ringing any bells for some reason.
I mean, only 245 people in Letterboxd have said they've watched it, so
that checks out then, and that's a very Kino title to just drop like that. Next up on our list is some MVD Rewind titles. We got Mean Guns coming on Blu-ray on April 9th. This is with Ice-T and Christopher Lambert. We've got an audio commentary with Albert Pune on this, new interview with Gary Schmoller, the producer, and then a new interview with the executive producer, Paul Rosenblum, new interview with the composer, Anthony Ripperetti, and we got the trailer, that's it. But just continuing the MVD Rewind line, and another Albert Pune, that's a big deal.
I need to get more into MVD. The only one I have is I got Vampire's Kiss. That is currently the only one I've had.
Wow. They've got some pretty good titles on that line too. And they're up to, gosh, this will be number like 54 or 5, I think.
Yeah, it's one that's been on my list. Like, hey, when I get some cash, I'll get some. But I think they had a sale during like November, right? And I meant to get some, and I think I spent it all on Severin stuff. So,
of course, that's the hard part about November. Everybody's on sale, but you kind of blow it on the first 1 or 2 sales.
Especially because, like, I can't remember. You might can remind me. When Severin did the 4 Flies on Gray Velvet, was that just a title for the sale, or did they end up selling it afterward? I feel like they weren't clear how they were selling that title, and I remember I specifically had to get that one, and I didn't know if they were going to do the same thing.
Yeah, they weren't super clear on it. And the funny thing is with Severin, you can literally email them right now and just ask for a copy of 4 Flies and still get it from them. It is kind of weird. And they did say, like, I think they're planning on doing another release of it in the future, but they don't know how to give it. I think they're trying to make it a special standard edition, and that sounds weird to say it like that, but they think it deserves more like panache than what they would normally put into just a standard no slip release.
I mean, it was a nice release anyway. I don't I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I'm not real sure. Aces High from 76 coming from Kino soon as well. This one's got Malcolm McDowell in it. And this one with Peter Firth, Christopher Plummer. I believe I'd seen this one like when I was super young, I think, but I don't remember it at all.
I've never seen it, but yeah, that cover looks like if I just saw that cover and scores like, yeah, Kino will do that one.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this is one that it had Kino written on it from day one. This one, though, is an interesting one. Kino is releasing Rampage from 1987 on 4K. This is finally coming. The William Friedkin film, starring a bunch of really interesting character actors, and it's supposed to be pretty great. They also listed a couple comments on their Facebook page after this. They said that it was going to have both cuts, I believe. But the other big thing is Friedkin's Bug is back on the menu. Now that Friedkin has passed away, they said we are going forward with it.
So were they able to get anything with Friedkin for this release before he passed?
They haven't announced anything yet, so I'm going to bet that this only went into production because he passed. They probably had the rights and were going to push it back, and then he passed, and they're like, okay, now we can just get to work.
This is slightly off topic, but I was just curious when we were talking about stuff we watched. Did you watch the Kane Mutiny Court Martial, the TV movie he did right before he passed?
Not yet. I've been dying to
good.
see it. The people in the Discord that have seen it, most of them seem to love it.
It's so good. Like, it's very. I always say Lumet because I always think it's LeMay, but I think it's not pronounced that way.
I think it's Lumet. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels so him because of how well they do with just sticking in the courtroom. I think the old one that they made before, they would flash back to what had happened. Yep. This one's just so much better because they have the confidence to just stay in this courtroom the whole time. It's really worth watching if you get a chance.
Damn it. All right. I will check it out. Sivner posted a comment that I got to go back to. Imagine if there was a standard release of Four Flies and it came in a big hard box with the book. There'd be blood in the streets. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
I could, but you know what? I can believe it to be true.
Sivner says, I can see Kino putting out Jade and Rules of Engagement, and Silent Manible's asking, that's a TV movie. That's Lance Reddick's last film.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that, you lost Friedkin and Reddick in the same movie.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about TV movies here once we get to the.
Yes, we will.
Plenty to talk about, but there are good ones. They're just not as common anymore.
Well, and I got to ask everybody's opinion because I agree with John here. How do we feel about Bug being back on the menu because Friedkin passed? He says it feels a little icky. It feels a little awkward to me that they were like, Friedkin's hard to work with. We're just not going to do it. And then he died and they're like, well, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the hesitation for me is just more of what could have been if they had just went ahead and just pushed through with Friedkin.
Right.
I mean, it's such an interesting film from him, and I don't think it's one he disowns. And I actually think he likes that movie quite a bit, which I do too. I'm a big fan of Bug. I would have liked to have had him work on it just because I think there's more to learn about that film because it's kind of been neglected.
Yeah, I'm eager to see it. I'm hoping they do right by it and it looks decent. It just feels a little weird. I get it. Next up, lots of Kino so far. February 27th, 4K from a little student film director named Stanley Kubrick, I think. Fear and Desire from 1952 coming on 4K. We got a new audio commentary by Eddie Von Mueller on the 70-minute cut. New commentary by Gary Garani on the 62-minute cut. Then we also have Flying Padre from 1951. This is a short film by Kubrick. This is a 4K restoration from the original 35mm print, which is so rad that they're doing this. Day of the Fight from 1951, another short, another 4K restoration from that 35mm print. The Seafarers from 1953, another 4K restoration. This one from the 16mm AB camera negatives and a 16mm print, and a couple trailers, but I mean, this is really cool. I'm so glad this is coming out like this, and they're just continuing to give love to some of these.
I have Kino's last release of this. It's not their main line. I'm trying to think what the line is called. It was like an educational one. It had it didn't have a traditional slip. It had a slide box.
Right.
But I'd have to go back and see what it was. I don't think it was their main line, though, so it's interesting to see them go back to this.
And this one, even if you have the old one, this one has those shorts, and that old one did not. So that's a pretty
more
big deal.
thanks, Cooper Cated. This movie and all those shorts, good. All in one convenient place.
Celeste is saying it's the Library of Congress line.
I think that was it, yeah, because they have a bunch of information on it. Though I've only watched the movie once, and that was plenty, but I'm still probably going to buy this.
I just hope we continue to get the rest of them. Like, I think I just wrote about this in the zine, actually, for what's about to drop tonight or tomorrow. Hello to everybody that is waiting on that. But we need the newest one from him. We absolutely need a 4K of some little Nicole Kidman action going on. And if they can't give us Eyes Wide Shut, I don't know why they couldn't, though.
Is that the only? I'm trying to think what's missing. Is it Barry Lyndon and Eyes Wide Shut? Are those the only two missing in 4K? Because Killer's Kiss is getting one or has gotten one.
Right.
Pass of Glory is getting one or has gotten one.
Yep.
The Killers is getting one.
Yep.
Barry Lyndon doesn't have it. The Shining has it. Clockwork Orange has it.
Lolita
needs one. That's right. So those are the only three left.
I think so.
And Lolita would be... And they need to do it, but and it shouldn't... I know it'll be controversial for people who haven't seen the movie, but it does definitely need a good release.
Yep. Celeste says, I think Criterion have Barry Lyndon and Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they still had Barry Lyndon. Eyes Wide Shut definitely needs to get released, though.
Did they do a DVD release of that, or a Laserdisc, or do they just have it and just sitting on it?
I think they just have it now, and they're probably waiting on 4K restoration stuff to be done.
Gotcha.
Next up, I think we mentioned this last week, but my interview with Alexander Heller Nicholas has been making some rounds. This is the one that's gotten the most views for quite some time. So if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's a fun one.
I think I told you a while ago, I'm making through all of yours because I've got so behind. So yeah. It'll come. It'll probably be like January, February by the time I get through them all. But
yeah, we trade off on that. I think I'm still, I think I'm in like August for you guys.
Oh yeah, then by the time we actually do some type of switch, it'll be like, that was.
It'll be next year. You'll be switching back already.
You'll already know if it didn't work.
Next from Kino, February 27th is the 17th entry in the film noir The Dark Side of Cinema. However, this one is slightly different because it's basically an Edward G. Robinson set. This has Vice Squad, Black Tuesday, and Nightmare. I know that many people love Black Tuesday, and that's the one that they're going in for. This is a pretty big deal for people that love Robinson, and I hope people love this.
I'm wondering, have you kept up with all of these, or has anybody kept up with all of these?
No, I pulled the cord a long time ago on these. The fact that they have literally said around, I think it was like number 14, they said, yeah, we could still do like another 12 of these. I was like, whoa, pump the brakes, sir.
And then, because they picked it up right when there was like Columbia Noir, and I think Fox had a noir set. Yep. It's just like, Adam from the podcast I know is incredibly happy with all of that, but
I bet
I'm not enough into noir to do that.
Yeah, and even for Adam, especially because Indicator's got most of those noir stuff coming out. They've got the Universal Noir. We didn't mention that. There's so dang many.
Isn't Radiance doing one too?
They're doing one called World Noir. That's actually, I think, is shipping right now. It's the final release of 2023 for them, and it's got to be a good set because people are already like giving it rave reviews.
I need to get into Radiance, but I don't want to.
They're remarkable. They must sell well if they keep pumping them out. To be honest, I just don't know to who. That's a great question, Celeste.
I guess it's the same thing. Like if they started coming out with like slasher box sets, there's those people who are just into it and will dedicatedly get every one of them. I would be one of those people, but I don't know. There's not as many noir fans as I know slasher fans.
Well, the hard thing with slashers and noirs alike is that there are so many films that you could technically make an argument that they're a slasher and noir, but they're really not at the heart of the stories, especially noir. It was basically, there's some crime and it's in black and white. That's a noir film.
And then, it's funny when actually noir and slasher kind of like meet. Probably one of the most interesting ones, like The Leopard Man, which is kind of both, and it's neither. I like Leopard Man a lot, but it's a strange little movie because it's kind of in that transition period.
Gotta love that weird, awkward period. Next one from Kino, which they were the only one putting out announcements for a few days during the holidays. Yeah. The Cruel Sea from 1953. This is nowhere near my radar at all. This is the type of film that I just definitely would probably not even watch. Charles Friend is the director on this one, and I know literally nothing about it.
I'm like looking it up because I've definitely never heard of
that. Dustin says, I've collected all those film noir box sets. Love them, even if they play fast and loose with the term. Yeah, they do. Celeste says, The Leopard Man rules. Saw it in 35mm in October. That's rad.
It must be so nice that all of you guys live near like I hear all of you guys talk about seeing something in 35. I'm like, I'd have to travel like 4 hours to find a theater that even has a physical projector anymore.
What's funny is I think Celeste lives relatively near to you.
Really? Okay. Maybe I'm not looking at the right place.
Like within a few hours, obviously. Okay. What's going on, Dead Sea Life? Will is going to drop in and spout off about Cruel Sea. Will is probably not able to watch tonight, sadly. Celeste, it was my first experience with 35. I actually traveled 5 hours for the festival. Damn, nice.
Wow. Yeah, that beats my record. I think the furthest I drove for a specific movie is 3.
And what movie was that?
I saw it at Alamo. It may be They Cloned Tyrone. I think that might be the furthest.
Interesting. I was waiting to hear that it was the Titanic restoration.
Thankfully, I only had to go to my Regal to see that one. And
nice.
Yeah, we were going to see it in 3D, but the 3D was busted. So I was like, that makes sense. So, but hey, I got to see it. It's fine.
All right. Next up is one. Well, actually, I think this is my favorite horror of this year. When Evil Lurks is coming on Blu-ray on March 26th from RLJE in association with IFC Films. This is the same director that put out. Wow, totally blanking on the name of it. Do you remember which one I'm talking about offhand before I say it?
I do not. I don't think I've seen the other movies this director's done.
Terrified, that's the name of it.
Oh, never mind. Then yes, I have seen it.
Terrified is great.
Yeah, I love Terrified.
Thank you, Dallas and Silent Mandible. Yeah, Terrified is incredible, and When Evil Lurks may actually be better. Did you see this one this year?
I did.
What do you think?
I thought it was fine. Like, I wanted to love it a lot, but I just kind of... I wasn't crazy about it. I like the idea of, it was one of those movies where I couldn't get invested in the story. And then, the gore would come in, and I got reinvested, and then it would just kind of slowly, I'd go out of it again.
Yeah.
So I want to rewatch it, because there's a lot of things I liked, but I don't know if I wasn't in the right frame of mind, or it just wasn't for me, but I plan to try it again down the road.
Yeah, it's a very good first 2 acts of the film, and then the third act definitely pumps the brakes a little bit too much. I really like Terrified, but something about the first, probably about the first half of this movie, just grabbed me. The whole folk horror aspect of this is just really fun. I almost feel like this could do better on a second viewing, so I'm eager to check it out on Blue when that comes out for sure. I do probably want to mention what everybody's reacting to Sivner about, and I should bring down the When Evil Lurks poster just in case people did not hear about this. Yes, from what I'm hearing, the 4K release of The Abyss has been canceled in the UK, not in the US, but in the UK, and the reason being is because of that one scene of animal torture. And they supposedly, they basically rejected it, and Disney was willing to comply and take out that one scene. And the company that had, I think it's Lightyear Production or something like that, had just done the restoration on it, and they vetoed the option and said, fine, we're just not going to put it out. If you won't let us put that scene in there, we're not releasing it in the UK. I've
been sitting here for a good... Since you started talking about where is there animal torture, and somebody put the rat, I'm like, oh, it's about the rat. I was like,
it is about the rat.
I was like, okay.
All right. It is ridiculous.
Something in the Abyss.
Lightstorm, that's the company name. Yeah, it's Lightstorm. Yeah, this is frustrating as hell, especially for people that have been waiting for so long for this. They're probably going to lose a little bit of money, but they weren't going to make a ton of money anyway, so I understand why they're doing it. But
I mean, the best silver lining is 4K is region free, so the import costs will suck, but I mean, at least it's not closed out.
Right.
As long as we don't get it closed out here too.
Oh man, let's not speak that into existence. All right. Going to the next one, Infiltration. The January 30th release of Infiltration is coming from Welgo. This is a 2022 film, and this is a Russian film. This is going to have the original Russian audio track with English subs and an English dub track in this, which kind of cool for Welgo to put both of those on there. Never heard of this movie. Not sure how good it is, but there's a trailer if you want to take a look. Some of the action looked okay.
A Russian war movie during this time might be an interesting watch.
Yeah, I did
go with it.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah, very, very curious time to release a war film from Russia. Next up, this is one that we kind of had talked about recently. So Yes, let's bring this up again. Film Movement announced that they are releasing a Lee Chang-dong box set in summer of 2024, and this is a big deal because it was just announced as coming out in Australia, but this one is going to be a little bit different because this is going to contain the movie Greenfish. So if you were going to import that release, you may want to grab this one from Film Movement instead. They said it'll be out early summer of 2024, so you should be able to see that this year. But just as a reminder, this is going to have Greenfish, Peppermint Candy, Oasis, and then also 2010's Poetry. 3 out of those 4 films had a 4K restoration. And then the 4th one, which I believe was Poetry, that one also had a 4K restoration technically, but it was a 2K intermediate that was blown up to 4K. So not quite a real 4K restoration. Yes, Celeste is asking, I heard that Kino canceled their 4K of Duck You Sucker, but I couldn't find confirmation. Anyone know either way? Yes, it is canceled. They also canceled one of the other 4Ks from Bronson, I think. Oh, it's Charlie Varick is also getting canceled as well. And I don't remember exactly why, but yes, both of those are getting canceled from Kino.
So the only Leone movies we have in 4K are just the
trilogy.
The Dollars trilogy.
Yeah. At the moment, at least.
I want to be selfish and say don't put out Once Upon a Time in America because I have value with what I have. Don't make it for me.
Yeah, it's worth quite a bit right now. Let's see. One fish, 2 fish, green fish, blue fish. Where was that posted? Couldn't find on their socials. I believe it was on the Blu-ray.com forum, Celeste. Unfortunately. And Kino, if nobody is going on the Blu-ray.com forum, Kino is very active on there.
They can get a little I'm not sure what's a nice word to put it. They can
snarky?
Yeah, they get a little snarky on there. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, they did say Charlie Varick was a legal issue. That's right, Anthony. I just remembered that. Next up is The Holdovers. We got some more details on this. This is coming very soon. So soon, in fact, next week, January 2nd on Blu-ray from Universal. And this is going to have an alternate ending, which I'm very curious to check out. Some deleted scenes, an introduction by the director, and the cast of The Holdovers sit down and they are discussing getting into the minds of their characters. You meet the boys of Barton, the school that they were attending, and learn more about Alexander Payne's casting process. And I gotta admit, the cast in this movie is incredible, so I'm very curious to see what he thinks on that.
Can I just note that it's really annoying? Is Universal putting this out?
Yes, sir, which means maybe 4K and
they put on there.
Yep.
It looks so terrible. I wish they'd stop. These are not collector's editions.
I mean, there's features. The hard part is it's Universal, so there's a chance it'll come out in 4K in 6 months.
Yeah, of course.
Especially if it wins an Oscar. And it'll definitely win at least one, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think who put out Parasite, because Parasite had that same run where it was Blu-ray, won awards, Criterion, and then 4K.
Was that the order? I think the 4K may have come out before Criterion.
Maybe it was. It was one of the other. I feel like the 4K and the Criterion were pretty close together. But,
yeah, they were very close together. And the hard part, the 4K Parasite doesn't look that great. It's about the same as the Blu-ray.
I got the Criterion one just because I didn't own it yet.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about for that 4K. Next up, oh god, March 5th, we are getting a Walmart exclusive Blu-ray steelbook of Kickboxer from 1989. And man, if I did not get many comments on the art on this today. Are you a Jean-Claude Van Damme stan?
I wouldn't say a stan. I like some. That is not encouraging me to buy the steelbook.
That doesn't look like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, it reminds me of Interstellar. Do you remember the Interstellar steelbook from Best Buy where it did not look like Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I like the style. It's a decent art style. I just wish it looked like the characters a little better. I don't... Also, like, why is he this weird pale blue?
I mean, it feels like it's one of those things where I hate to sound like cynical, but it almost feels like very intern color theory thing, like teal and orange,
blue and orange, yeah. Michael Smith, I don't own a single movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
I own the fourth Universal Soldiers movie. That movie's awesome. I've never seen another Universal Soldiers movie, but I can say that one's good.
Yeah, this is odd, and it's coming from Lionsgate. There was a rumor, I believe Felcher kind of started the rumor that the Vestron was maybe going to put this out. It is coming from Lionsgate, and there's no Vestron symbol on the spine, which in a moment we're going to talk about another steelbook, and we'll see that there's a Vestron symbol on the spine. So it's a
little rough for Lionsgate from there.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
It's I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this whole because I guess Walmart's getting all of Best Buy's stuff now in 2024.
They're getting a lot of it, and here's the thing. And I again, not to hype the zine up too much, but I do mention this in this month's zine as it's coming out right now. From what I've been told by somebody recently, it is not a given that Walmart is getting every exclusive steelbook, but it's literally, unless there's a pre-written contract from a company like Lionsgate, they definitely had one, and Disney had one previously with Blu-ray, but on literally an individual title basis, companies have to negotiate a steelbook or not. And that's why something like The Creator got a steelbook in the UK, but not the US. Nobody wanted to pay for the rights for the exclusive for The Creator because they didn't think it would sell. So we just plain did not get the steelbook in the US.
And I'm guessing it's not looking great because I know a lot of this is down to focus testing and saying, well, sci-fi's not, steelbooks aren't selling great, so because we just have a bunch of them stuck at Best Buy, so The Creator didn't make enough money to do it. Because I mean, what was funny is I think we talked about Avatar. I think you said the first Avatar steelbook is kind of hard to find, but the second one there were hundreds of them. It felt like, I waited months to order that one, and I got it.
The hard part about that one is they were selling it for $40 for months and months, and it just recently went on sale, and all kinds of people were posting pickups of it. So price is definitely a big part of that. Let's talk about some more steelbooks, though. We got, after this, I guess, March 12th, Decal is releasing the ISS. This is coming on Blu-ray. This is not even out in theaters yet. This is releasing on January 19th. Yeah. And it looks pretty great. I'm very curious to see this one.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I like a paranoid thriller. I'm all into it.
Same. I think we got one more Decal to discuss first. Yeah, March 12th, Decal is also releasing Ferrari. Right now, it's only listed as a Blu-ray. This will probably only get a Blu-ray. But for a Michael Mann film, I really hope Decal improves their encoding. Even though I hear Ferrari's not great. Did you get to see Ferrari?
Seeing it tomorrow.
Perfect timing. Yeah. I hear Penelope Cruz is incredible in this, but everything else is pretty much a letdown.
Did you see that clip with, I think they were in France, and a critic was asking Adam Driver why the crashes didn't look great, and he's like, what do you have to say about that? And he's like, I don't know, go fuck yourself. I don't know.
I saw that meme. I didn't see the full context of it. I just saw him saying that. Interesting. Silent Mandible saying he's heard the opposite. Heard it's great.
It's mad. I mean, I feel like Black Hat has a huge following.
Yep. I still plan on seeing
I would say huge. It's got a very vocal following. So, I mean,
that's true. Yeah. That's true. Let's see. Celeste is asking, what do you mean every steelbook is negotiated individually? Like, I guess my question is, as opposed to what? Wouldn't every title or exclusive be negotiated individually regardless of the former? Not necessarily. One of the examples of that is Disney. Disney had an exclusive with Best Buy. They had that contract set in place before the whole Best Buy was gone. So they basically dictated what was coming out on Blu-ray or what was coming out in a steelbook or not, because they already had that set up in place. And Best Buy just put up with it. They were the exclusive carrier, and that was that. But nowadays, I mean, with multiple companies putting out steelbooks, they get to choose who to put it out or not to put it out. And if nobody wants to bid on that exclusive rights, it just doesn't come out.
I am curious. Like, usually I'd be very against something like Best Buy stopped doing it and then Walmart takes over. But I'm almost wondering if that means there's going to be more copies spread out because of how many Walmarts there are compared to Best Buys. Like, maybe it'll actually be possible to get some of these that, like, I went to get Oppenheimer the day it released, and my Best Buy just said, yeah, we didn't get it. I'm like, you just didn't? Okay, cool.
That one is different because all of those sold out on pre-order. So literally no store got them. Literally no store got them.
Which is insane. Like, the demand is there.
It is. The other part is with Walmart, many Walmarts are not getting any of these exclusive releases in. So for many people, if you don't get them in, your only option is to buy them in the mail. And then we get questions like we're getting right now from Julius Thunderhead. I hope that's how you say it. It might be Gilius. Steelbooks look awesome, but I rarely bother because it's so hard to get them in good condition, even for pre-orders or new releases. Any tips? No.
Don't order from Best Buy, but sadly you have to order from Best Buy.
I would say try to find them in the store so you can inspect them first, but that's not always feasible. And that's
why I didn't get Oppenheimer. I was like, I'm not gonna order it. I'm gonna go in the store and buy it, and like I do every other one, and I couldn't do it on that one.
I get it because some steelbooks are really nice. A lot of times they have better art. There's been a couple that have been, like there's exclusive discs or something in there. But then if they're going to come up banged up to you, why would you go through the process? It's
especially when they're because of the digital codes make it so hard. Because like I got the Rambo 5, the box set they had, the steelbook box that they had. And I didn't notice any damage until I had opened it up. And they gave me such a hard time about that. And it wasn't like I'm not one of those people, if there's a couple scuffs, it's going to bother me.
Right.
But this was a huge dent that I couldn't see until I took the paper off.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you can't. We can't accept it because of the digital. I'm like, I haven't used it. Just, can I please return it and get a good one?
And the hard part with that is sometimes they'll say we can exchange it for the same item, but you have to open it in front of us, which... Okay, like how does that stop anything? Because, anyways,
I'll gladly do that. They didn't even give me that option. I had to end up calling Best Buy customer service, and they had to do everything on their end, and then I could go in there and just pick it up.
Yeah. Ruben says my Walmart usually only has DVDs. Same. There's like 7 Blu-rays at mine, and most of them are all brand new films, no steelbooks. And then everything else is DVDs for the craziest things you could possibly imagine. Like Asylum films, random copies of The Gate, stuff like that.
The section of just like indie horror is very fascinating. It's just like they even have like a whole section for it.
There's so much. It's so weird. And they're all on DVD. Indie horror DVDs, specifically. Next up. March 12th on Blu-ray from Relativity Media is Freelance. This is the brand new John Cena and Alison Brie helmed let's have an adventure action movie that's coming out. This to me feels like The Lost City. The trailer looked like The Lost City. It feels like it's the same thing. It's such an odd genre.
Can I just say poor Christian Slater?
I want to see Christian Slater in something big again. I feel like he could still do it.
Mr. Robot was a really good role for him. I was hoping that would open him up a lot more. Yeah, because he's good in that.
Darn. All right, so here's that other steelbook I was talking about. March 5th on Blu-ray as a Walmart exclusive steelbook from the Vestron video line. And this is how we can see that. When you zoom in, there is a Vestron icon logo at the bottom of that steelbook there. So it looks like Kickboxer is not going to be a part of the Vestron line like was rumored previously. And then this is the outside of the steelbook. This is the inside of the steelbook. That classic art is on the inside. I don't hate this one. It's a little...
Actually, if they would do it for all of them, I would be way more excited because I was like, these would look good together.
Yeah.
If you're going to collect Vestron.
And they've done 2 now. A lot of people forget a few months ago, Vestron, I feel like they were testing the waters, but they put out Maximum Overdrive in a steelbook.
That's right.
And now we got Little Monsters. And then after this, we also have Shivers from David Cronenberg as a
like that
Walmart
one.
exclusive. We have people going to Walmart for a release of Shivers from David Cronenberg. That's such a weird sentence to make in 2023. I think this steel is beautiful. Also coming from the Vestron line on March 5th. And the inside is the classic art.
I like that.
I mean, this is pretty. It's nice.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they continue doing this, how their art will evolve, because it doesn't seem like they care as much about uniformity in the sense that every one of them needs to like have something, which I think is a good thing. I think them looking unique is better than just trying to keep to like one basic outline for very different movies.
Yep. Anthony says Kickboxer probably going to be the same old Lionsgate Blu-ray, most likely.
Which Vestron, that's all they do now anyway, right? Which I know they're not doing Vestron for that, but like,
what do you mean?
I know, wasn't it like Vestron? They used to be a lot more expensive because they actually did the restoration work, and then they got like dirt cheap because they stopped doing that.
That's what it feels like, because the quality went down, starting actually with Little Monsters that we just talked about. That was the first one that was kind of icky looking compared to the rest. But I've never understood how this was always so expensive for the Vestron line. They own the rights to the films. They're the studio. They don't have to pay for licensing. I've never understood.
Well, it's like, that's why I've never owned Maximum Overdrive, is because like, I like that movie all right, but it's like $30. I'm okay.
And then the Steelbook came out, and I think it was only $20.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to do to people. Let's see. We had a question. I missed it. Dustin saying, why is Alison Brie holding a cell phone in that picture? And I wanted to see what that was. Okay, that's weird. And
what is that? Is a big cell phone.
And the explosion is visible in the cell phone?
I love interns. Thank you God for that. And it's the director of what? I can't even read that.
The director of Taken.
I don't even know who that is.
They literally don't name him at all on this poster or in the synopsis. So, yeah.
I don't think I've ever said I'm going to watch Taken for the director, so I just can't even tell you who it is.
Terry's pointing out Shivers was in Walmart when it was released through Vestron. Yes, all of the Vestron has been showing up in Walmart, thankfully. It's just weird to have everybody go to Walmart for a Walmart exclusive release of Shivers from David Cronenberg. I wish Eric from MVD Rewind did an uncut hybrid cut of Kickboxer the same way he did Lionheart. I think that's what everybody wanted, for sure. TikTokers be TikToking. Oh, man. Embarrassing Photoshop. Absolutely.
It reminds me, well, this isn't as bad because it's not a big budget movie, but did you ever see that poster of Ready Player One where the dude's leg is like 10 feet long as he's going up on the ladder? And you're like, that is such a major movie for them to have that much of a screw up on the poster design.
Yep.
It's impressive.
It's pretty embarrassing.
At least this is just some regular movie going.
Right.
Everyone's going to watch.
Right. Final one for the week is another Steelbook, and this is another Walmart Steelbook. They are doing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Let me zoom in a little so everybody can see this design. This is coming soon. We don't have an actual release date for this yet, but it is a 4K Steelbook. It will also have the Blu-ray and the digital code. No details on features or anything yet, of course, because it'll be a while. But you can pre-order this now if you really want to.
I hate to say it, but I think it's the first time I could say the inside artwork's better than the outside artwork.
It's pretty good compared to that outside. Thunderhead is saying, of course, two of the Vestrons I bought now have much cooler looking Steelbooks coming. This is a solid question. Michael Smith asking, how long before we see a film written, directed, and performed by AI?
It's all going to come down to, as sad as it is, in my opinion, it's just actors and writers fighting tooth and nail every time it comes up to keep it from happening. Because, I mean, a studio would love to try it. I mean,
absolutely,
they're aching to try it to see what happens.
All right. Reminder time. Let's go over what is releasing next week. We have The Holdovers, the Apu Trilogy 4K from Criterion. Force Vengeance from Scream Shout Studios. The Facts of Murder. This is one of the titles that's in that World Noir box set from Radiance, but this one's coming out by itself in the US. The Marsh King's Daughter. I did not get to see that one. Did you see that one?
It looked interesting, but I never got around to it. No, that was another one that didn't stay in my theater very long.
Yeah, that's one I'd certainly wanted to see. I mean, Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn are an interesting pair, at least. Please Not Now, the Bridget Bardot film coming from Kino, romantic comedy. That one is coming from MGM, same with Poppy. And then A Hard Problem. That one is the last. Not a whole lot coming out next week. It is a very, very slow time for releases. Usually around the holidays, that's the case. Anything major from there that you're picking up anytime soon?
Right away, I don't think so. It's not that
I thought. I may get the holdovers eventually, but honestly, I'll probably hold out to see if they do a 4K in the next year. I imagine this one probably will get a 4K after award season, and wouldn't be surprised if that even were overseas first. That seems to be happening with like Turbine recently, for a few titles from Universal. So I imagine it'll come eventually. And Ronnie says another Dirty Dancing. Is that
there?
I don't know what's going on here because there's no picture. Let me see what it says.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Just a Lionsgate Blu-ray DVD. It's probably the 4K remaster on a Blu-ray disc. What that is. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.